your goat. It's your boy Relentless bringing you yet another build video. And you're probably wondering why I am broadcasting this straight from PS4. The reason for that being is I left my dog out over Christmas by accident. Just thought I'd be gone for, a few moments. Ended up being an hour, came back, and he ate my El Gato. So therefore, I had to purchase another one through Amazon, and that should be arriving shortly. But anyways, I call this build the Terminator, and it's basically, I'd say, 75% or more are using in the DZ. It really competes and can compete with Barrett's chest piece, specialized backpack, a nimble or sturdy holster, great, or it's actually out there. Just go with whatever knee pads. There's also Banshee. If you're the initial one to pop off first and go rogue, then you get that additional damage. And you usually do with a skill build. For the most part, other than what I usually run in the DZ is Predator's Mark, but this is the AlphaBridge. As you can see, 378.8, but more or less just a guideline as far as what damage per second that you can actually put out. So basically, instead of looking at how high you can get your DPS, you want to look at your stat character sheet. 410.4k toughness with almost 119k skill power. Let's start with the weapons. As you can see, 19.8k base damage, and that's a random that just sent me an invite that I don't know, but thanks for inviting me, but sorry. 19.8k base damage, and then with the uncomplicated talent, I get an additional 28.35, which brings me up to, see, that's 19, 20, 21, a little over 22k damage, and I'm running Vigorous, Responsive, Destructive, Brutal, Unforgiving, and of course, Uncomplicated. And this is where most people say that the AlphaBridge is OP due to the simple talent of Uncomplicated that is on the FAMAS. Damage is increased by 15%, and accuracy and stability mods reduce this bonus. And as you can see on my weapon mods, magazine size, crit hit chance, rate of fire, large optics, VX1 scope, 17.5% headshot damage, 3% crit hit chance, 4% crit damage, large muzzle, Omegle rifle suppressor, 18% headshot damage, 4% crit hit damage, 3% crit hit chance, and 50% reduced threat. Basically, on the optics and the muzzle, that is your trinity, so to speak, on those attachments is you want crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and headshot damage. On the large underbarrel, I have, let me get rid of this dude. Large underbarrel, 19% crit hit damage, optimal range, and reload speed. So therefore, I have nothing coming or in the negative that's deducting from the uncomplicated talent. So basically, you can estimate you get 28.35 extra damage for having the uncomplicated talent as your secondary on the FAMAS. Onto the chest piece. Pretty decent rolls. 1268 is an awesome roll for the firearms, health on kill, and 1201 in armor, and 48% ammo capacity. And then my mod slots, I have 261 stamina, 271 armor, and also another 261 stamina and 271 armor. In the mask, I have 1264 in firearms, another good roll with 9818 skill power and 14% increased kill XP, which is I'd rather have enemy armor damage, and that it would make this build even more potent. So if you are able to do so, then by all means, get enemy armor damage. I actually had a low roll in the firearms, and then the base armor roll for this mask is not that great. And though I have come across quite a few AlphaBridge masks, usually the armor on the mask are even lower, and you want to get as most armor in your mask as possible, and it goes up to 1001. So if you can get a better base armor roll on your mask than what this one currently is, it would make this build even more tougher. And then why have all of a sudden my I got some morons. Be gone, peasant. Okay. Sorry for that. Now we can basically better base armor roll on your mask. By all means, it would make this build even more tankier. And you'll see my armor mitigation coming up in a few, which is very nice, even with this low base armor roll on this mask. And in the mod slot, I have 262 stamina and 272 armor. Moving on to the knee pads, 1243 armor, 53% increased kill XP, disorient resistance, and enemy armor damage. And that enemy armor damage now plays a key and vital role in both PvP and PvE. So whenever applicable, try to get enemy armor damage, like I said, on your mask and your knee pads if possible. And I also got a pretty good armor roll out of these knee pads. I think the highest it goes is 1279, and I got 1243 out of it. It only cost me 3 million funds to actually get it. Thank you, Lucky Larry, for the funds. He actually hooked me up, and this guy will not leave me alone. Oh, he's got me all distracted. But anyways, moving on to the mod slots. I have 261 stamina, 271 armor with 6% first aid self-heal. In the backpack, 1245 in firearms, a good armor roll on them, a total, the base armor was 2261. And then in my mod slots, I have 261 stamina, 271 armor, 5% first aid ally heal, and another 5.5% first aid self-heal. And the reason I have the ally heal on there to help also because I run with a squad, so therefore it also helps them out. But I can easily, if I'm running more solo, I can stick in another 5.5 or 6% first aid self-heal in there. And also, if possible, especially when it comes to an AlphaBridge build, you want ammo capacity in that minor slot, if possible now, on your chest piece and your backpack. Because as we know, you're using both of the same weapon types, and so therefore you feed off the same ammo. Usually with ammo capacity on both pieces, which is your chest and your backpack, you'll average around 2,000 rounds. With only one piece on there, you'll average around 1,300 to 1,400, and then around 900 to 980 with neither on them. And keep in mind, you can also do different variations of this. You can also run the Barrett's Proof chest piece. You can also run Vigorous on here. There's so many different ways. And also, if you have an AlphaBridge rucksack that actually has good rolls on it, such as this one, you can also switch out for the AlphaBridge backpack and then go with a Tenacious mask instead of that. But, when it comes to specialized, that's basically on any DPS build or basically any build whatsoever. A specialized backpack is basically essential to any build because it takes 200% of your firearms and your stamina and applies them to your skill power. So therefore, you don't have to spec anything whatsoever into your skill power specs or electronics due to the specialized backpack. Moving on to the gloves, I have Savage Gloves 12 and 11. With 1299 assault rifle damage, 16% crit hit damage, and 5% crit hit chance. And as you can see, I also have a pair of AlphaBridge gloves, 1271 in firearms with damage to elites, crit hit chance, assault rifle damage. What would make this gloves even more perfect if it had crit hit damage instead of damage to elites. But it had a really awesome firearms roll, and also on the base armor on your gloves, it goes to 1001. So if you can get as close to that as possible on a good pair of gloves, you want whatever weapon of choice that you'll be using, what weapon types, such as assault rifles, LMGs, or SMGs. But as of right now, it's basically the AR is beast in the DZ because of the baked-in holster. 1267 in firearms, 1267 in stamina, and 1266 in electronics, which is great all across the board. Really awesome holster. And in the mod slot, you can see I have another 6% first aid self-heal. Now let's move on to my character sheet. So as you can see, I'm doing 22.6k damage, 24% crit hit chance, only 68% crit hit damage, but 122% headshot damage. I'm getting the 5% health on a kill, the enemy armor damage. Like I said, it plays a vital role now in PvP and PvE. So in the PvP aspect, you want to divide that number that you have in the enemy armor damage, and that will tell you exactly how much enemy armor damage you do in PvP. So as of right now, if you divide 44 by 3, then you're looking at a rough estimate of around 15% enemy armor damage when it comes to other players in the Dark Zone. This number would actually be higher if I actually had the enemy armor damage on my mask, and that I think accumulates to up to about 12%, so that would put me at 56%. So if you're an avid PvPer, then you want enemy armor damage on anything as possible. I believe at one time there were actually purple mods that actually gave you 2% enemy armor damage, and also firearms. So you can actually stack on that, but also with not having armor on those mods, just know you're actually going to be even squishier. But if you're going for a glass cannon build, so to speak, in the DZ, such as my friend Reggie Merck, that actually does very 2 or 1v3, you don't want to get focused, but yet you also don't want to be primarily focusing on one while the other one is shooting you in the back. So since this is basically a cover-based shooter, then balancing in and out of cover also works out really nice. And also frag grenades are very lethal and vital, so that could play a role. Definitely if you want to, say, use misdirection, throw a grenade like to their left, knowing that they're not going to run into the grenade, so that way they move to their right and immediately, you know, pre-fire as they run into it and then just smack them down. My survivability, as you can see, 54.68%. That's how much my armor mitigates. And accompanied with that, as you can see, and as I said before, the low base armor of 923 on my gloves and also on my mask at 905. That can accumulate to even more tankiness and put me over 55% if I had better rolls on them. But that's basic. Well, that was just interesting. It seems my connection to the server is really messed up. Woo! This is not good. Comcast, you suck. Why is it that the computer can hit me, but I can't hit them? There we go. Smack you. Oh, you want to smack me? Fuck you. Fuck you too. But anyways, sorry about the connection or whatnot right there. But as you can see, it does actually melt NPCs. For whatever reason, whatever damage my dog actually did to my Elgato has somehow affected my router modem. But anyways, that's why I'm broadcasting. I hope you enjoyed the build. I wish I could bring you more gameplay, but as my Elgato comes in from Amazon, that situation would actually be remedied. And sorry for the late uploads that I haven't been uploading recently, and that's due to the simple fact of the whole dog eating the Elgato. So that's why I'm actually, doing a live broadcast through the PlayStation 4 system currently because of that. But thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys fudging later.